The last time we saw this signal over on Bitcoin and the USDT dominance, Bitcoin surged 60% towards the upside. And right now we are seeing the same setup forming once again. And the question is to you, are you ignoring it as you have done right over here and you miss out on a move towards the upside, or are you gonna buy your Bitcoin at such a low price? We are currently exactly at the yearly open, and this is a really important decision point for Bitcoin. And in today's video, I will discuss exactly why this is a very important point. We can see that the US Treasury just bought back $12.5 billion of its own debt, and this is a really bullish thing in the market. The Ethereum Fusaka upgrade went live yesterday, and this is what I am thinking about Ethereum from the longer run. We will dive into that and way more in today's video, but first of all, please make sure to follow me over on X to never miss something throughout the day in crypto, and of course, please make sure to subscribe over on my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate this. And if you love those daily update videos, smash that like button towards the upside, and we will dive into the data right now, because this chart is a really interesting chart. This chart is the Bitcoin chart, the orange candles, and the USDT dominance chart, the red and green candles. And the USDT dominance, I'm gonna explain it, this is a really important thing in the market. The USDT dominance is the dominance of a stable coin in the whole crypto market. So this means that if the USDT dominance increases, that means that the number of percentage in the market is in stable coins, which result to a little dump to crypto and all other altcoins. So the USDT dominance is an indicator to see if people are putting their money in their stable coins or just in crypto. So this is also a chart, one of the charts you want to see going down. This is exactly what we have been seeing right over here in January 2024. We saw the USDT dominance getting rejected here. And when we saw that happening, Bitcoin pumped approximately 86% towards the upside. But that's not the only time we saw this. We saw this happening in September 2024. We rejected this resistance line and Bitcoin surged towards the upside 90%. A really big hit rate, but we have seen it once again before in April 2025, and we saw a pump of approximately 60%. And right now, we are seeing that same signal happening once again, and I expect a very big pump for Bitcoin from off this point. And I'm not gonna say we will see $200,000, $300,000 from this move. But one fact is that history tells us that if you sold your Bitcoin at this resistance, in the last 4 times we have seen this, you would miss out on the next big move on Bitcoin. That's the only thing I am saying right here. Historical speaking, every single time you sold your Bitcoin at this rejection area, you get wrecked by the market, because that is the exact point we saw that move happening towards the upside. And that is, I have all those data for you, but if you manage to sell your Bitcoin with all those data, you're literally betting against all this historical events that happened in the market. Historical speaking, we are pushing from off this level we are right now. So if you sell your Bitcoin right now, you have zero data to do so, and all the decisions we make in the market here, we want to have a clear verification for ourselves. Then also a really important point we are at right now is the yearly open. We can see that we are almost 12 months done from the January 1st. We saw this candle getting created, and that was the yearly open. We are 11 months further, and Bitcoin is at the exact same level we saw Bitcoin at the 1st of January here, which is massive. But this is also a really important level, because either the institutions want to defend this yearly open. So there are 2 scenarios. Or they bought Bitcoin around this yearly open level because we saw some really nice support getting created there, and they want to defend their position. So if they hold that Bitcoin for 1 year and didn't get any returns of that, then they literally have set their capital in Bitcoin, could buy anything with that, like stocks, like currencies, but put it in Bitcoin, which is a really high risk asset for an institution. And they are literally gonna stay break even for the whole year. That's not really what I think they like to do. Or there is another scenario here, that institutions in the stock market and also with crypto, they want to push their portfolios at the end of the year. So if they push the price a little bit below that yearly open, they are in a minor loss. But with the profits they made, they can shrift off that loss. So what I think that could happen, or we either push in December further towards the upside above those yearly opens, so institutions are making profit if they bought on the 1st of January, or I think we will close a little bit below this yearly open, that all the institutions that bought at the 1st of January are on break even. And I think if we see that happening, that in January, February, we will see a massive pump for Bitcoin. So that is my theory about this. If we pump right now, we will see a surge, and then maybe we will see a drop 1st of January to push the prices lower. If we close below this yearly open, we will probably see a pump in January, February. That is also what we are seeing always in the stock market. That is just the balance that the institutions are pushing themselves to. They need to have a really good report at the end of the year, and they are literally playing with the numbers here. Also, a really important thing we can see is that the US Treasury just bought back $12.5 billion of its own debt, and that is the largest single day buyback in history. And this is massive, because a buyback means that the Treasury is removing all debt from the market and they are replacing it with some new issuance. And this is a very important thing in the market, because this boosts liquidity and is reducing short-term pressures on the bond market, and it is stabilizing fund conditions. And a very important thing, an advantage for this, means that we will see more liquidity in the system. But a really important thing to know, and everyone is screaming, yeah, there is more liquidity coming in the system. But an important thing to know, this doesn't directly mean that all this money, liquidity, will flow in crypto. But one thing is sure, historically speaking, is that risk assets like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, will benefit from this buyback, and that is a really, really important point to keep in mind here. And I think also this news is massive to see for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then if we look at such a lower time frame for trade opportunities, we can see that we are still heading into this resistance zone. So we have been rejecting this for 4 times right now, and still we didn't manage to break it towards the upside. What am I expecting next for Bitcoin? This is a really important level, the $91.5 thousand. Sorry, it is not a real straight line. I think if we close below it, we will see a further move towards the downside. So if we break that $91,400 and we get a retest, I will probably short this move towards the downside. If we are managed to get strong enough to break above this resistance line, retest it, that is the exact point I am opening up a new long position on Bitcoin. So this is scenario number 1. This is scenario number 2. And scenario number 3 is if we drop from this resistance zone towards that $87.7 thousand, that is where I am looking for long positions, because the trend is still towards the upside. But I don't want to play within this big candle here, because there is a high possibility that if we drop here, we will drop pretty fast towards that green line. So this is what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. For now, we don't have the confirmations to open up a trade. But if we lose this level, we will open up a short. If we break further towards the upside, we can open up a long on the retest. And if we break further towards the downside, we can look for a long on the $87,600. And if you want to trade those moves by yourself, please make sure to sign up on WeX through the link in the description. You will have the best trading circumstances, and I'm sharing all the live live setups here over in my daily update videos. The only thing you need to do is trade them over on WeAct through the link in the description. And then about Ethereum, what we saw is yesterday the Ethereum Fusaka upgrade went live, and this is massive for Ethereum because what we can see is that the layer 2 capacity is way faster and cheaper with this upgrade, and also 33% more layer 1 throughput with 60 million gas limit. And this is really important, and this is also where some people say Ethereum is bad, that it is expensive, that it is slow, and this upgrade counters all their opinions. And this is a really bullish update for Ethereum. And also, if we dive into the Ethereum chart here, we can see if we compare it towards gold, we see the exact same setup forming once again. So what we saw on gold in 2020 towards 2024, a 4-year-old consolidation, we saw resistance getting formed towards the top here. We are seeing that same setup once again on Ethereum. We are getting resistance on the top. We have been supporting the lower side. That's exactly what we are seeing on Ethereum, and also what we saw on gold here. Then right here we tapped the resistance. We tapped the resistance for Ethereum. That means that we also took people in short positions, create liquidity above us, track people in the market, which is a good sign. Then we saw a dump towards a very important mid zone for gold, and that is exactly where we are at right now on Ethereum as well. And when we saw this setup happening for gold, we saw it surging towards the upside like crazy, and right now that is what I'm expecting for Ethereum as well. So this setup is so exciting for Ethereum. With that Fusaka upgrade, I really think that this 4-year-old consolidation will break out, and if we see a breakout here, Ethereum will be unstoppable. And I'm calling this right now, this white buy box is the box to buy your Ethereum. We can buy our Ethereum for $2,700 towards the $2,100. If we see a breakout here and we bought at this exact level, we will probably see a pump towards the $10,000 or $12,000 for Ethereum. This is massive, and right now everyone is looking only at Bitcoin, but I'm calling it live here. Ethereum is here to stay, and Ethereum will pump so hard towards the upside, and I'm calling it here. The difference is I'm calling it here at $3,000, but if we break out, everyone will scream Ethereum will pump, but that is exactly when we are at 4.55k, and I called it here live at 3k. So that is what I want to being said here. That was it for today's video. Please make sure to follow me over on X to never miss something throughout the day in crypto, and of course I would really appreciate if you can like this daily update video and subscribe over on my YouTube channel, and I will see you tomorrow by a brand new crypto daily update video.